video, we are breaking down the cost of a family trip to Singapore for our family of 5. We'll take into account flights, hotels, transportation, activities throughout the week, and food. So thanks for tagging along. Singapore was always on the top of our list when we thought of Ledoux 52. And it was always thought to be a high-cost city or high-cost trip. So budgeting for this trip was a bit nerve-wracking, but let's break down the cost for you. Let's start with flights. So flights, they came out to $639, which is about $128 per person round trip. We flew with Cebu Pacific, and we had a seamless flight, a little bit less than 4 hours, about 3.5 hours. So yeah, no complaints there. Secondly is accommodations. Singapore is one of the highest costs for real estate in the whole world. And that's no different in looking for hotels and Airbnbs. We look for what gives us the best value for the best price, and that's the most convenient for us. What makes this trip unique is that we had our parents come along. So Elaine's parents, my in-laws, came with us. So in choosing our accommodations, we had to consider a room for 7 and probably multi-bedroom. So looking for an Airbnb that accommodates that many people, that's comfortable, it was very challenging. So we elected to go the hotel route, and we decided to stay at the JW. So at the JW, we had 2 rooms. We had a 1-bedroom suite, and we had a separate family room. And in total, we spent $3,135 at the JW. Now, baked into that cost is also savings in other ways, which I'll explain in a little bit. So why did we stay at the Marina Bay Sands? We felt as though the benefits of staying at JW outweigh the benefit of swimming at the top of Marina Bay, right? Especially considering we've done that before. So we elected for the JW, and we don't regret it at all. It was an awesome hotel. The staff was phenomenal, and highly recommend it if you're in that part of town. Next is transportation. Taking the metro is great. Singapore is known to have one of the cleanest subways in all of Asia, if not all of the world. And I remember taking it in our last trip. This trip was a little bit different because we have kids, we have parents, and it was more convenient for us to take Grabs wherever we went. So leaving the hotel for lunch, do our sightseeing, taking Grabs back, changing, going to dinner, all that for the entire week was $375. Now keep in mind, because we're a party of 7, usually the biggest cars fit only 6, and quite often there were no 6-seaters available. So we would very often use 2 Grabs. Elaine would call one and I would call one, just to get wherever we need to go. So $375 for the entire week sounds like a lot, but it's the convenience of just being able to jump in a car and get to where you're going without kind of climbing downstairs and getting to subways and finding stations, and we think it was worth it. Next up is activities. Singapore has tons to do for the family. There's a lot more that we even didn't get to do. Of the things that we did, let me break it down for you. We went to the ice cream museum. Again, this was Eden's request. She's the birthday girl, and that came out to about $35 per person, so $243 to go to the ice cream museum. That's for a party of 7. One of the must-dos in Singapore is Gardens by the Bay and Cloud Forest out there. We spent $221. That comes out to about $32 per person. One of the highlights that the kids absolutely loved, the adults did too, is Future World. So this is an exhibit by Team Labs, which they do these phenomenal exhibits all over Japan and Tokyo and Osaka. So when we saw that pop up on the radar of Singapore, we decided to do it, and we don't regret it at all. That came out to $19 per person, so $137. Another thing that we did was Sentosa Hydro Park. Sentosa is a small island right outside of Singapore, and that's where Universal is and other resorts. And we saw this hydro park that looked very interesting. That came out to $88. So only 4 of us went, myself and the 3 kids. So $22 per person. Quite honestly, it was a bit underwhelming. It wasn't maintained very well. Didn't look as great as it did on the website. So I would probably pass if you asked me to do it again. Another thing is from Sentosa, we toured around there and took a gondola from Sentosa Island to Singapore proper, and that came out to be $160, so $23 per person. That's a hefty price. I come from Orlando. I think of all the times that we ride the Disney Skyliner for $0, and I think, man, we are lucky to have that. $160 for a one-way gondola trip from Sentosa Island to Singapore proper. A beautiful ride. Probably one of the highest gondolas I ever been in. Worth it probably if you're going to Universal Studios. And then we spent $18 on eSIMs for 4 phones. So that's not too bad for the entire week. So for those activities, we spent a total of $874. Next up is food. Singapore is known for its food. And if you're a foodie, Singapore might be one of the best locations in the entire world just to go ham. And I gotta say, it's impressive. It was impressive last time we came. It was impressive this time. So let's break down some of the costs. So we ordered a cake for Eden's birthday. I went online and I looked up this amazing looking bakery. She requested chocolate with pistachio for some reason. Thankfully they had it. That cake was $91. Ouch. Before I break down all the food costs, let me explain. One huge benefit of staying at the JW was 2 things. Number 1, the included breakfast. So every morning we had breakfast at Beach Road Kitchen, and this is a full buffet spread with everything you could think of. Chefs making omelets and whatever you're looking for. And per person, that would have been $45 per breakfast. And you know, there's 7 of us. We saved over $700 US just having breakfast taken care of. Secondly, with the JW, they have an executive lounge. Anyone with status in Marriott and Bonvoy has access to this lounge. We saved quite a bit also in the afternoon, having afternoon tea and snacks and going up there for satay and rice dishes and sushi. So again, that probably saved us at least $500 to $800 USD just having access to the executive lounge. Coffee and soda when the kids wanted, drinks. So huge cost savings there. I realized that. So the cost for food actually is a lot lower. Very rarely did we go out to like a fancy restaurant, just because I mean, the best experiences in Singapore are honestly in the hawker stalls. There was one time we went to a dim sum restaurant, which was phenomenal. We withdrew cash. So cash on hand, we had about $370 or $400 equivalent USD. And we spent that all throughout Chinatown, probably in souvenirs, but mostly on food and hawker stalls and dumplings and noodles, and it was great. Highly recommend it. We spent a total of $590 for food. Again, remember, this is due to huge savings from having free breakfast and a free afternoon, whatever, pick-me-up at the hotel. So in total, when you consider the cost of flights, hotels, getting to and from all these places we went to, the activities, the ice cream museum, Marina Bay, Sands, and the exhibits there, and all the amazing food, for 5 days in Singapore, we spent a total of $5,613, about $1,100 per day. Hopefully that helps. Put in the comments below what surprised you, if anything, about these expenses. Let me end this video with a quick story. My eldest, Jaren, he's 13. So he's inquisitive and he's forward-looking in life, and he asked me, "Daddy, should I have kids?" I asked him, "Why would you ask that?" And he said, "Because a lot of people I see are choosing not to have kids or having kids later to focus on their careers." I thought for a second and I told him, yes, definitely yes. You know, I may be the rare case, but I dreamed of having a son. Maybe because I never had a brother, but definitely because I wanted to be a part of making something or someone great. Raising kids who are thoughtful, who are smart, who are fun to be with, and are considerate, that is the greatest possible contribution to this earth. And to all you dads out there who strive to do the same, you're awesome too. And it's obvious seeing the smile on those little kiddos' eyes. So happy Father's Day, and thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, whatever that means. We're grateful for having you. We're grateful for hitting 400 subscribers. We are thankful for having each and every one of you join along. Love having you guys. So until next time, this is your weekly reminder. Collect moments, not things. Take care.